the first speaker today who does not have a PhD. So it all begins to get very simple from here. I'm very impressed by the quality of people you had up here this morning with the analytics you were talking about. The numbers are just mind-boggling. I'm not going to be that complicated. I'm going to talk to you about change and about how change is roiling the marketing world today. I got a lot to go through here. I'm going to start at a high level. We're going to talk about what's happening in sort of the media and the way people communicate and how this is kind of cataclysmic to the way brands interact with their customers. And then we're going to get pretty specific about different types of social media and how you use them. We're going to take a break at about 2:15, and I would like you, we have to leave here a little after 3. Kevin and I are both on a plane at like 4:45 today. So I want to be sure that I devote the last part of this presentation to stuff that you want to hear about. So if I don't cover it in the first hour or so, please come up to me at the break and tell me what you want me to cover. So let's start with the state of the media today. It's dismal. It's awful. It's a catastrophe. The upper left-hand chart is a chart showing newspaper circulation and newspaper revenues. Look at what happened around 2006. 2006, the best year the newspaper industry ever had. Highest revenue year. In the last 4 years, the newspaper industry advertising revenue has fallen by 50%. Circulation in the newspaper industry is at 1962 levels. Adjusted for inflation, revenues are at 1942 levels. Over half of the journalists in America have been laid off over the last 5 years. And this is not going to turn around. This is an industry in a death spiral. That is slowing now only because they've managed to cut their costs, but is in long-term decline. A recent survey by Pew Research said that the majority of Americans now believe that mainstream media as we know it won't exist in 10 years. Remarkable change in public attitude in a very short time. Notice, by the way, the industry had its best year just before it collapsed. This is very typical of industries in periods of high change. If you're in the technology market, you see this happen all the time. Companies have their best years before. IBM made $8 billion in profit the year before it almost went out of business. So this you see change happen very quickly. Usually it's because businesses are so completely out of tune with where the market is going that the floor just drops out from under them. Magazine industry, the iconic magazines of America, the ones that I grew up with, some of you in this room have grown up with, these are the circulation figures over the last 8 years. This is what's happened to them. U.S. News & World Report announced yesterday that it is going out of the print business. Newsweek was sold by the Washington Post Company for $1. Businessweek was sold for $1. TV Guide is bankrupt. Reader's Digest is bankrupt. Gourmet Magazine was shut down last year after 74 years. It goes on and on and on. The magazines that defined our shared experience as Americans are going away. It doesn't mean magazines are going away, but certainly as readers come online, iPads, and I see some iPads in this room, as Kindles come online, as the quality of those technologies improves, we will see radical changes in the way people consume information. Demographics, the average age of a daily newspaper reader in the U.S. today is now 57. 57. No one wants to reach a 57-year-old person. No advertiser wants to reach them. They don't buy anything. They're just trying to keep alive. As a columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times said last year, newspapers aren't dying, our readers are. Average age of the viewer of the NBC 6 p.m. evening news is now 63. It's even worse. It's even worse. Where is that business in 10 years? It's gone. And that shared experience that we had that defined the way companies marketed to us is going away too. Because the shared experience was part of our culture. When we picked up the Dallas Morning News, 400,000 people in this area would pick up the Dallas Morning News every morning, and they would all see the same thing. And they would all come to work having consumed the same information. And that created a different kind of discussion than what we have today. Today, we have all kinds of micro markets. Everything is splintered. Everything is customized. And we can choose to filter information however we want it. And that is going to change the way we consume information. Survey recently of CMOs asked what are the most important channels for you to reach your audience. They were given 10 different choices, combination of online, broadcast, print, etc. They picked 9 of the 10 channels were picked as better than 50% importance. Everything is important. So when everything is important, how do you deliver a consistent message?